Mogul Motivation, educating and empowering entrepreneurs 1 week at a time, presented by True Stories Media. And I am your host, Antoine Twiz Taylor. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mogul Motivation. I'm happy that you're back again. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time listening to this podcast was created for the aspiring entrepreneur who is trying to get over that hump to get to that next level of success. This podcast was also created for anybody who has a dream and wants to reach success. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, no matter what it is, this podcast is for you because a lot of the things I talk about can be applicable to your life and your journey. So I don't want you to feel excluded if you don't have a small business, if you're not an entrepreneur. All of this is for the greater good of reaching success. Ladies and gentlemen, if you love this podcast, I ask that you do three things. I ask, number one, and most importantly, you refer it to someone else who will benefit, someone else who's an entrepreneur, someone else who is striving to reach success. Number two, I ask that you subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And number three, that you leave a review for the podcast on iTunes, because subscriptions and reviews all factor in to podcasts reaching the top 50, the top 100 lists on iTunes. And, it really would help me if you guys do that. So don't forget to pass it on to someone else. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to leave a review for me if you like this podcast. I do this for free. I do this because I love inspiring other people and I love inspiring myself. Don't think that I'm some perfect entrepreneur who has it all figured out. On my 7-year journey so far, which isn't even that long, I've become frustrated, I've become dejected, I've become weary, I've become tired, all of those things. I go through it constantly. So a lot of the things I talk about not only benefits you guys, but it also benefits myself. You know that phrase, you have to take your own advice? I take my own advice a lot of times, when I feel myself getting frustrated. So with all that being said, I want to talk about my history as a student. From preschool, elementary, junior high, high school, I've always been a procrastinator. I will always be that student that will wait to the last minute to do my work. In the morning before the teacher comes around to check your homework. I was that guy. I was always a procrastinator, and it all changed my spring semester of my senior year in college. I went to Western Illinois University, and I had to take a geology class because you have to take a certain number of electives to graduate. So I had to take a geology class, the study of rocks and minerals. I had no interest in this class. I hated it. It was very boring. The professor was very dry. The classroom was very warm and humid because, again, it's the spring semester. I hated it. I used to go to sleep in that class from time to time. One day I checked my grade, and I noticed I had a 54% in that class. That became a problem. And at that point, I turned it up because I had never failed a class a day in my life. Although I was a procrastinator all through my life as a student, I never failed a class, ever. And I wasn't about to fail one now. I turned up the heat on myself, and I began to go above and beyond. We had 3 exams remaining. We had 2 more exams, and we had the final exam. I passed all 3 with A's. I ended up finishing the class with a 72%. I passed the class, I got my elective, and of course I graduated, and the rest is history. Imagine if I was going above and beyond from the beginning of that semester in that class. I wouldn't have had a 72%. I would have had an A+. You get a C- for effort. When you do what you're supposed to do, the bare minimum, you get a C- for that. The bare minimum gets you by. Effort gets you halfway there. That's why I get so frustrated when I see on social media all of these people talking about all of my bills are paid. I go to work. I do this. I do that. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to go to work. You're supposed to pay your bills. You're supposed to provide for your family. The standard for accomplishments are so low these days, it's ridiculous. And while those things may be accomplishments to them, it may be an accomplishment that you finally have a good job, you can pay your bills and all that. I get it. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a minor accomplishment for everything. If you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a dentist, getting into law school, medical school, and dental school is a minor accomplishment for what you're ultimately trying to do. Starting your business is a minor accomplishment for what you're trying to do. Making a sale is a minor accomplishment for what you're trying to do. We have to stay focused on the grand scheme of things. When you really want something, you're going to get it and you're going to go above and beyond for it. I didn't want to fail that class because I never failed a class a day in my life. and I wanted to graduate. My want for that was greater than my hate for geology and rocks. So I turned up the heat on myself and I went above and beyond and I got a 72%. Had I had that mentality at the beginning of the semester, I would have had an A+ in that class. That's what we have to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen. We have to keep in mind that when you want something so bad, you have to go above and beyond for it every single day from the beginning to the end. You get a C- for effort. Just showing up and putting in the effort is half the battle. It's not enough. It's not enough, ladies and gentlemen. The way you earn money, the way you earn success is a reflection of the quality of the person you are. So if you're a quality person, it's going to spill onto the product or the service that you provide, or it's going to spill onto the work that you do. If you're a lazy person, your product, your service, and your work is going to be lazy. That's how it works. It's that simple. The more you realize that success is reality, the more you're going to distance yourself from people who live mundane lifestyles. You have to keep in mind that everything you're going after can be obtained is right there. You just got to run after it. And you got to run after it with so much tenacity that it's going to be impossible for it to get away from you. That's really what it comes down to. It's no secret. I mean, it sounds good that everybody gets a trophy for showing up. It sounds good that everybody expects to win. But that's not true. It doesn't work that way. You have to go above and beyond. C- is for effort. But an A+ is when you excel, when you go above and beyond. When you put in all of the work that you can do, when you give 110% 7 days a week, that's what it's about. And of course, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to get burnt out. It's going to happen. You're human. But you get right back up and you keep going. You rest a little, yeah, but you keep going. You know, I see so many entrepreneurs, so many young entrepreneurs like myself who complain saying, oh, I'm doing everything I can and my business isn't growing. I'm not making enough sales. I'm not making enough money. I don't know what's going on. Blah, blah, blah. Look, man, I used to say a lot of those same things. Again, I'm a young entrepreneur. I only been in this game for 7 years. I used to say a lot of those same things, but I stopped saying those things when I realized that it takes time. When you really want something, it's going to take time. It's not going to pop overnight. You have to analyze if you just have a bad plan and you have to rework your plan, or you're not working a good plan long enough. It's one of the two. It's one of the two. And you have to analyze and see which one it is and take action and make it happen. It's going to come. When you really want something bad, it's going to come. You just got to keep putting in the work and going above and beyond. You can't just show up. You can't half-ass your business. You can't just promote your business once every now and then. You can't just tell people about your business every other day. You have to constantly promote yourself. You have to constantly remind people who you are and what you're doing. You have to have the mentality that you are the best in the game. And you have to keep going at it. It's not cockiness. It's confidence. It's what you need to motivate yourself. That's what you have to do. Every single day, you have to go above and beyond, ladies and gentlemen. And that's really all I got to say this morning. It's no secret to obtaining success. It's just, are you going to have the endurance? Because once you get on that ship, and once that ship sails to that paradise that you're trying to reach, you can't get off it. The only way you're going to get off is if you jump into the water. And if you jump into the water, you're going to sink to the bottom, or you're just going to float lifelessly in the same spot. So the choice is yours. Do you want to stay on that ship, no matter how slow it's going? Just keep in mind that it's going in the right direction. It's going towards paradise. It's going towards becoming that dentist. It's going towards becoming that doctor, becoming that lawyer, becoming that principal, becoming that administrator, becoming that successful businessman, businesswoman. That's where that ship is headed to. But it's up to you to keep that ship going. You can't just sit on the ship and just say, oh, I'm here, I'm going to relax. No, you get a C- for that. You got to churn. You got to work those engines. You got to keep going forward so you can get to that A+, so you can get to that paradise. You got to put in the work. It's just that simple. I know it's frustrating. I know it gets tiring. I know it wears on you mentally. But you're not alone. You're not alone. And you're going to make it. I'm going to make it. You're going to make it. But you got to keep believing. You got to keep having that faith. A C- is for effort. Effort is not enough. Effort is just showing up. Effort is just going through the motions. Can't go through the motions. You got to go above and beyond. You got to go for the gold. You get an A+ for excellence. You get an A+ for being elite. You get an A+ for being amazing. And it's a reason why, because not everybody is going to go to that level. Everybody isn't going to become excellent. Everybody isn't going to become amazing. Everybody isn't going to become exceptional. Majority of the people you encounter are going to continue to go through the motions, whether they're entrepreneurs or whatever it is. Most people are just going to continue to go through the motions, and they're going to jump off that ship, and they're going to sink or they're going to float. But either way, they're not headed towards paradise anymore. So that's my message this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue to work. Let's continue to imagine reality. And remember, let's not just put in the effort. Let's go above and beyond. Let's not settle for a C-. Let's go after that A+. Have a great day. I'll talk to you next week.